What's up, guys? My name is TechnoTuner, and today I'm bringing to you my deck profile of the new Red Dragon Archfiend support. This deck has gotten a lot of good support. It offers up so much interaction, further capability to run even more negation, or even incorporate more beaters and board breakers into this deck. While offering up so much capability for this deck to go farther and play around Nibiru, it offers so much for the actual lore of the deck as well. From where we're seeing upgrades of medium piece golem, a new resonator, along with Vice Dragon getting an upgrade to where we're also seeing Red Rising Dragon, where it's basically a callback to Jack Atlas as well. We will be taking a look further into what's going on in this deck list, but I hope you guys do enjoy it as much as I did when coming to design this deck. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and hop right in to our main deck. Starting off, we're starting with 3 Soul Resonator. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 level 4 or lower Fiend monster from your deck to your hand, except Soul Resonator. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Dark Synchro monsters. If a card or cards you control will be destroyed by card effect while you control a Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro monster that mentions it, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effect of Red or Soul Resonator once per turn. We're following that up, of course, with the 3 Bone Archfiend. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send 1 other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Dark Synchro monsters. You can target 1 face-up monster you control that has a level, send 1 Fiend Tuner from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do increase or decrease that monster's level by 1, you can only use each effect of Bone Archfiend once per turn. This card works amazingly as a good extender, but also offers up a lot of capability for level modulation as well. Up next, of course, we're playing the 3 Secret Rare Power Vice Dragon. A Red Dragon Archfiend that was Synchro summoned using this card as material cannot be destroyed by battle. You can only use each of the following effects of Power Vice Dragon once per turn. If you control no monsters or all monsters you control are Dark Synchro monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, or if this card is special summoned, you can add 1 Resonator monster from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Dark Synchro monsters, basically giving you further access to further plays and extension into other Red Dragon Archfiend monsters. For the rest of the cards that are not Resonators for the original Red Dragon Archfiend package, we're playing 1 Fiend Piece Golem. If you control a Fiend Tuner and this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card. If this card is special summoned, you can reduce its level by up to 2. If this card is sent to the graveyard as Synchro material for Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro monster that mentions it, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Fiend monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. You can only use each effect of Fiend Piece Golem once per turn. It's a great way to play around Nibiru, as it does give you further extension, but also offers up a lot of recovery plays if needed. For the Resonators, of course, we're playing 1 Darkness Resonator. You can reveal 1 Red Dragon Archfiend in your extra deck, special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Synchro monsters. If this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect during your main phase this turn. You can normal summon 1 Resonator monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can target any number of tuners you control, change your levels to 1. You can only use each effect of Darkness Resonator once per turn. So, giving you further access to do level modulation, but an additional normal summon of a Resonator can really help further your plays. Next, we have 1 Vision Resonator. 1 level 5 or higher dark monster, or if a level 5 or higher dark monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Vision Resonator once per turn this way. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 spell or trap that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Vision Resonator once per turn. Then we're following that up with 1 Crimson Resonator. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If the only other monster you control is exactly 1 Dark Dragon Synchro monster, you can special summon up to 2 Resonator monsters from your hand or deck, except Crimson Resonator. You can only use each effect of Crimson Resonator once per turn. You cannot special summon from the extra deck except Dark Dragon Synchro monsters the turn you activate either of these cards' effects. Then we have one Synchron Resonator. If a Synchro monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Synchron Resonator once per turn this way. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one Resonator monster in your graveyard except Synchron Resonator and add it to your hand, basically giving you some further recovery. So we have the extender of Crimson Resonator and Vision Resonator and Darkness Resonator, but the recovery of Synchron Resonator as well. Then, of course, we're playing the 2 Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper. If there is a card in a field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper once per turn this way. You can discard this card, add one level 3 or lower Fiend Tuner from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Fusion or Synchro monsters. You only use this effect of Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper once per turn. So basically a good discard outlet to get us into our Fiends so we can further our combos and start off our plays. Now, aside from the hand traps, I am playing a few Bestials here. Speaking of which, the 1 Bestial Lubellion cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summoned from hand or graveyard by attributing 1 level 6 or higher Dark Dragon monster. You can only special summon the Bestial Lubellion once per turn this way. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, add 1 Bestial monster from your deck to your hand, except the Bestial Lubellion. During your main phase, you can place 1 branded continuous spell or trap from your deck face up on the field. You can only use each effect of the Bestial Lubellion once per turn, giving us access to the Bestial Magnemite. You can target 1 light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. If this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect during the end phase of this turn. Add 1 dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except Bestial Magnemite. You can only use each effect of Bestial Magnemite once per turn. We're following that up with 1 Bestial Druid's Worm. You can target 1 light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls sent to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Bestial Druid's Worm once per turn. So, giving you further capability to break your opponent's board, but also offering up ways to hinder your opponent's graveyard as well. Following up with that, we got a couple of hand traps in which we're playing 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Droll and Lockbird, 2 Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit, and 2 Ghost Bell. So the main reason why I'm doing the 2 ratio is because I don't want to really see Ghost Bell and I don't really want to see Ghost Ogre. I want to see Droll more than I see either of those 2, but I want to see Ash more than either of the 3. So that way I have interaction with my opponent if I need it, and I can stop key plays. Do note I would probably side out the Ghost Bells and run to Nibiru if I had extras of that, or just side out the Ghost Ogres and Ghost Bells and just run 3 Molcharmy Fualos as well, because that does give me additional draw power into other cards I may want to see. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for the monsters. Let's go ahead and hop right into our spells and traps. Alright, for the spells, we're going to go ahead and start off with 3 Resonator Call. Add 1 Resonator monster from your deck to your hand. This basically gets us into any kind of Resonator that we want, such as Soul Resonator, Vision Resonator, etc. So we can start off our combos. We're going to follow that up with 3 Crimson Gaia. During your main phase, you can add 1 Red Dragon Archfiend, or 1 card that mentions it from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except Crimson Gaia. When your Red Dragon Archfiend declares an attack, you can change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. If a monster on the field is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon 1 Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard. You can only use each effect of Crimson Gaia once per turn. So basically a good way to inflict more damage, get an additional search, and also get a revive of a Red Dragon Archfiend if you need it. We're following that up with 1 Crimson Call. Add 1 level 4 or lower Fiend monster from your graveyard to your hand, or if you control a Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro monster that mentions it, you can add 1 such monster from your deck instead. At the end of the damage step, if your Assault Mode monster or Red Dragon Archfiend attacked, you can banish this card from your graveyard. The attacking monster can make a second attack in a row. You can only activate 1 Crimson Call per turn. Just a great way to get an extension and further damage in. Of course, we're going to follow that up with 1 Call by the Grave and 1 Foolish Burial, so we can hit any kind of problematic cards in the graveyard, but also send cards from our deck to the graveyard so we can continuously get some additional plays. And or bait and Ash Blossom. Next for the traps, we're following up with 3 infinite impermanents. And then, of course, we're playing 2 additional traps. You can cut these down to one or the other if you really want to. I like playing them because they are really good cards nonetheless. We're playing 1 Branded Beast. Once per turn during the main phase, if you control a bestial monster, you contribute 1 dragon monster, then target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. During the end phase, you can target 1 branded continuous spell or trap in your graveyard, place it face up on your field. You only use this effect of Branded Beast once per turn. The other card I'm playing is Red Rain. If you control a level 8 or higher synchro monster, banish all monsters on the field, except the monsters with the highest level. Also, the remaining face-up monsters on the field are unaffected by other card effects except their own until the end of this turn. If a dark synchro monster is synchro summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use this effect of Red Rain once per turn. So, giving you the capability of banishing your opponent's board, but also giving you further access to make your bigger monsters into a towers can really help out a lot. Now, do know if you're wanting to cut a card for the other branded continuous spell, I would probably cut Red Rain so you can get that branded continuous spell out as well. That basically lets you shuffle back a banished monster or banished card when it's banished and then draw one. That can help your plays as well. But do note, Red Rain does offer up a little bit more than what the continuous spell does. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for the spells and traps. Let's hop right into our extra deck. All right, let's go ahead and hop right into our extra deck where we're playing 2 Red Rising Dragon, 1 Fiend Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target 1 Resonator monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except for Dark Dragon synchro monsters. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 2 level 1 Resonator monsters in your graveyard and special summon both. Next, we're following that up with 1 coup we built, the Blade Dragon. If this card is synchro summoned, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. If this card is on the field is destroyed, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field. That monster cannot attack until the end of your opponent's turn. You can only use each effect of Kua Belt, the Blade Dragon, once per turn. Just a good level 7 extender if you need to. If you want to be extra funny, you can run a card that basically locks Cool Tune out, which is Dark Highlander. 1 Fiend Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Fiend type monsters. Neither player can synchro summon, so do note that once this is on board, you are locked from synchro summoning, so that can hurt you as well. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls that is equipped with an equip card, destroy all cards equipped to that monster, and if you do, inflict 400 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. So this can really work as a double-edged sword here as well, but it can stop Cool Tune from really comboing off. I would recommend swapping it with one of your level 7s as well, as is a good level 7. But anyways, continuing on. That's in my sideboard, by the way. I am playing 1 Zaylin the Shackled Dragon. If this card you control would be used as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. When a card or effect is activated in response to another card or effect activation, quick effect, you can activate one of these effects. Negate the first effect, and if you do destroy that card, negate the second effect, and if you do destroy that card. You can only use each effect of Zaylin the Shackled Dragon once per turn. So just interruptions as well can further help establish your board, but also give you a little bit more protection. Then, of course, we're playing the 1 Crimson Blade Dragon, 1 Resonator Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. This card is always treated as Crimson Blader. If this card is synchro summoned, you can take 1 level 8 or higher monster that cannot be normal summoner set from your deck or graveyard, either add to your hand or special summon it, but negates effects. You can only use this effect of Crimson Blade Dragon once per turn. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a level 5 or higher monster, destroy that monster. Of course, we're going to follow that up with the Crimson King. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner dark monsters. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add 1 card that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck to your hand. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish this card, special summon Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon, and if you do, its attack becomes doubled. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You can only use each effect of the Crimson King once per turn. So, being able to get a really good body out on board as well, but also giving you access to your Crimson Blader and other things can help greatly. Up next, I do play the one Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. If this card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while it is on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less than or equal to this card's attack other than this card. Then inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. Then, of course, we're following it up with the two original Red Dragon Archfiend. If this card attacks a defense position monster your opponent controls, destroy all defense position monsters your opponent controls after damage calculation. During end phase, destroy all other monsters that you control that did not declare an attack this turn. Of course, we're playing the one Scarred Dragon Archfiend. This card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while in the field or in the graveyard. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, you can special summon one Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. Then, if this card was sent to the graveyard as material for a Dark Dragon synchro monster, you destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. You can only use this effect of Scarred Dragon Archfiend once per turn. Then, of course, we're following up with the bigger monsters here, which are Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, one tuner plus one or more non-tuner Dark Dragon type synchro monsters. During either player's turn, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls. Negates effects until the end of this turn. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one tuner monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position. You can only use each effect of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss per turn. We're following that up with one Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. You can tribute one monster, then target one Red Dragon Archfiend monster in your graveyard, special summon it. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon two tuner monsters with the same level, one from your deck and one from your graveyard in defense position. You can only use each effect of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane once per turn. One Bestial Dissipator. You can target one Banish Light or Dark monster, special summon to your field. Special summon it to your field. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can target one Banish card, shuffle it into the deck. Then if you shuffled it into your deck, destroy that monster. Or if you shuffled it into your opponent's deck, negate that activate effect. You can only use each effect of Bestial Dissipator once per turn. Following that up with the one original Red Nova Dragon, two tuners plus Red Dragon Archfiend. This card gains 500 attack for each tuner monster in your graveyard. This card cannot be destroyed by the effects of your opponent's spells, traps, or monsters. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can select it, then remove this card from play and negate the attack. During the end phase, special summon this card that was removed from play by this effect. So, giving you a further bigger body, but also giving you access to a attack negation. Then we have, of course, the Red Supernova Dragon. 3 tuners plus one or more non-tuner synchro monsters. Must be synchro summon. Gains 500 attack for each tuner in your graveyard. Cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Once per turn, when your opponent's monster effect is activated, or when your opponent's monster declares an attack, quick effect, you can activate this effect, banish this card. Also banish all cards your opponent controls once per turn. During your next end phase, after this card was banished by its own effect, special summon this banished card. So, giving you further access to board breaking capability, but also setting up such a big beater can hurt your opponent so much. This deck offers up a lot of integration with being able to swap from offensive to defensive, being able to set up interactions, negations, and just being able to be over for double damage. In certain cases, such as changing your Red Dragon Archfiend from a 3k to a 6k beater, but also being able to destroy your opponent's monsters and do more damage, gives you a lot of capability for this deck to really combo up and keep going. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for this part. Let's hop right into the ending point where I go over a little bit about some of the pros and cons of the deck. So, what are some pros and cons of this deck? Pros, it's an anime deck. It will always get support, and the new support from this deck makes it very playable around Nibiru and other hand traps. You can definitely play through with the branded package or the bestial package or even the elf note package to really incorporate into going further with this deck and incorporate different forms of summoning. While this deck is very amazing, very adaptable and malleable, it is a very fun deck nonetheless. if you were to encourage a new player, I would encourage them to pick this up because it is a very fun deck nonetheless. The cons. It is a very synchro heavy deck. It is also very, very, very dependent on a red dragon archfiend or dark dragon synchro monster to be used. So if you're going against Zombie World or something like that and you have no capabilities of popping it or getting rid of that field spell, it can hurt you a lot. Any kind of name change or prevention of effects or anything like that can stop you hard in your tracks. While this deck has a lot of good capabilities to further play around that and stop negations and further interactions, this deck still does follow its weakness of being able to not really play around much of your opponent's spell trap or monster effect name changing capabilities. So if you're going against, for example, Heraldic, if they change it to an unknown or anything like that, it can stop you pretty hard in its tracks. The other thing is Nibiru is still a main threat to this deck. Not as much as it once was, but it can still stop you hard in your tracks. While this deck is very fun, it's very easily to be adapted for Genesis. I'll have a couple deck lists up here in the near future explaining some of those as well, and where you can just play pure Red Dragon Archfiend as well, along with just some more different variable builds that you can play for competitive. While this deck is very fun, do note it does come with its downsides. I would just recommend for any newer player that's looking for a very good synchro heavy deck to try this out. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.